As you know that I'm usually doing makeup videos, but because I am a stay-at-home mom and that's what I know best, I figured why don't I kind of talk about and do some videos about my everyday mom life and kind of the struggles and the things that us stay-at-home moms go through on a daily basis, especially how hard it is in this day and age to stay and be a stay-at-home mom. Well, first off, I have two daughters, ages 5 and 4. My oldest actually just started kindergarten this year, so that was a big anxiety thing. And I will talk about that like later on in some of my videos later on, but I just want to talk about a little bit about myself. I worked up until I got pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant when I decided that I needed to quit and focus on being a mom now and taking care of myself. And the reason why I didn't work the last month of my pregnancy was because I was traveling 2 hours one way, 2 hours back one way to work every time I worked. And I'd work like 6 to 7 hours a day. And then I would get off really late, and then I never saw my their dad. I never saw my boyfriend, and so it just got really difficult. And motion sickness while you're pregnant, how many moms know that motion sickness is terrible? Yeah, it was terrible for me. And I was riding the transit system. I wasn't even in my own car. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so bad. But yeah, so I quit doing that. And just some of the things that I noticed that when my girls were first born it was so nerve-wracking. I didn't know what to expect. Here I was in charge of this bundle of joy, this other life, and I had no prior experience. I also lived in a big city where I had no family or my boyfriend's family nearby. They live on the other side of the country, and my family lives 6 hours away from us. And so we literally had nobody except for the few friends that we had here. And it was very, very, very difficult, to say the least. We were both scared. We didn't know the whole entire experience, what was going to happen. But we just took every day, like, very, slow and just, like, learned everything. We learned about ourselves and we learned about our kids. And that's essentially what every parent does, is, like, no kid is the same. Every kid is different. And every parent's going to be different, and there's no right way to do things. I know there's like so many books out there that say, oh, do this, do that, this will help you. Like, no, you know your own child better than what you think you do. And like, there's some things that work for my kids that don't work on other kids, people's kids that I know, and vice versa. So, I mean, you get to know your child, and it's one of the most bonding experiences. Now, I got to tell you, when I started being a stay-at-home mom, it was stressful in the very beginning, because here I was left alone with this little baby that I was supposed to take care of, and my boyfriend, fiance, had to go to work. So not only was he missing out on all of our baby's firsts, but I didn't have him to help me, and I didn't have my family to lean on, and I didn't really have very many friends because we had just moved there like a year ago, a year prior. We live in a big city, and we had just moved. So we didn't really know very many people. So, I mean, it was a very, very tough experience, but like, I just tried to get as much advice as I could over the phone and through talking through people, and then just tried to like tell myself that I got this. Like, I was a mom. Like, I have this. I'm a lot stronger. Us women, we are stronger than what we give ourselves credit for. I mean, we give birth to babies, for crying out loud. Like, we need to give ourselves some credit. And so I want to say the most hardest thing for me to learn how to do was give my kids baths. I was terrified when they were those little babies. They were infant newborns. It freaked me out the most. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to give my baby a bath? You know, I had to have one of those bath chairs, and still the idea of it freaked me out. But as I got used to it, and I like just tried to calm down and say, hey, you know, you got this. And like, you don't have to give your baby a bath at a certain time every day. So I waited to give my kids baths when their dad came home. When they were newborns, because that way we could tag team and do it together. So that way I wasn't going at this on my own, and maybe my husband, my boyfriend, he had some better ideas that I wouldn't have had. So definitely, if you're a stay-at-home mom, utilize your significant other for help if they're still in the picture. Because they appreciate having a job to do, since they're always gone and not able to do things. And it also gives them an opportunity to put their 2 cents in and feel like they're doing something for their kids. I wasn't able to breastfeed because my body just wouldn't allow me to do that. So my girls were almost strictly formula and milk babies. And that was kind of difficult, knowing that I couldn't do that, but it was just something that I had to accept. Just the same way, like my family not being there. Like my mom wasn't even there when I gave birth to my kids. Now that's another issue all on its own. And I hope that none of you moms ever have to experience that, because that was really, really hard for me for both of my kids' births, to not have my mom there. All the time I hear people saying that, you know, they don't know what they would do without their mother being there with them through that experience. And I can tell you it was really, really hard. But I had my significant other with me, and he was there, and it was just the two of us. And even though it was hard not having everybody in my family and everybody in his family and friends at the hospital to share in that moment with us, in a way it was kind of good, because it gave us that moment to ourselves. And that's something that we didn't have to go through. We didn't have to go through crazy family trying to get in the room and trying to bombard other people and trying to fight over who was holding my daughter, or when, you know, we actually got to have time together to experience that moment for ourselves. And at the same, as much hard as it was, it's nice to be able to have that special moment between us. I can tell you that, like, the stigma that people give stay-at-home moms to this day is so completely unfair. Every day you always hear about it. Oh, stay-at-home moms have the easiest job in the world. All they have to do is get up when their kids get up. They go to bed when their kids get up. You know, all they have to do is clean house. It's not that hard. And cook for their kids and do all this. But all they do is sit on their butts and watch TV. And that's the stigma. They think that stay-at-home moms are lazy and all they do is stay at home and watch TV. Like, how do you think that our kids stay healthy? Do they feed themselves? No. Do they bathe themselves? No. Do they clothe themselves? No. Do they change their own diapers? No. Do they learn how to go potty on their own? No. Us moms have to be able to do all that kind of stuff for our kids. Like, we are the only person besides the dad who is there to teach them everything. And like, we made a conscious decision a long time ago when I first was pregnant, even before I got pregnant, that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom to our kids. I grew up in the daycare realm. My significant other grew up in like the daycare realm too, and we just don't like daycares. We don't like what they stand for. There's too many shady people out in this world, and I just did not want somebody else raising my kid for me and missing out on all of the firsts and stuff. The money just was not worth it to me. The payout was a lot much better, and we struggled. I'll tell you, we struggled. We live in a big city, so rent is expensive, and we did not have we did not have money for our own place. We had to roommate it up in an apartment. And so my significant other and I and our daughter were sharing a room. And then when we gave birth to our second daughter, there was 2 kids in one room sharing an apartment with roommates. And my husband at one time was working 2-3 jobs a week, and I never saw him. And he came home 2 hours to sleep, and then he was gone again. That's how hard it was. And when those days hit, I literally felt like I was going to die. Like, I just wanted to give up. I had no one there besides me to help me, because he had to work to make sure that we had everything that we needed. Bills were paid and my kids were fed and clothed. Like, we didn't have time for anything. My significant other didn't have a day off ever. He worked 7 days a week, because in between the other, when he wasn't working at one job, he'd be working at another, or vice versa, or he'd be working all 3 of them in one day. So it was difficult. It was very, very difficult. And then my fiance, he found the best job ever, like the current job that he is now. And we finally were able to get a place of our own. And I can tell you, it made things 10 times easier. Just knowing that I had our own place. The girls had their own room. I didn't have to clean up after anybody else's mess except for my own family's. You know, I didn't have to worry about dishes being dirty from other people using them because they didn't want to clean them up. You know, not having that extra work. And also the worry of wondering, are they going to pay their other half of the rent? Are they going to be responsible and pay their half of the bills? You know, is there going to be loud noises? Are they going to, like, is there shady people out there? You know, like, I didn't have that worry. I was solely responsible for me and my kids and my significant other. And that was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. You just got to take one day at a time and taking a breather and just tell yourself, you got this. You know, I'm a firm believer in the Lord. And I believe that He does not give us things that we cannot handle. And as mothers, we got this. We can handle this. We have got this. And who knows our kids better than us? Just want to touch on that again. Who knows our kids better than us? And when you take it one day at a time, and you slowly go, and you don't push yourself too hard. Don't expect too much, because I feel like if you expect too much from yourself as a mom, that's when you feel like you're going to be a failure, because you set all these expectations that you need to be like this, or you need to do this, or you need to get this many things done in a day. And I feel like that if you set the bar so high, you're going to let yourself down if you can't, like, complete that. So for myself, I set myself like 3 or 5 goals, in between 3 or 5 goals. It just depends on how busy I am during the week. But like, I set myself 3 or 5 goals during the week that I need to accomplish, whether it be stuff around the house, or if I want to get my kids to be good at something, or like teach them something. I set myself goals and time limits. That way I know that, like, if I don't meet my goal, then I just need to try harder the next time. And if I do make my goal, then I have that satisfaction of knowing that I did a good job. And that has really, really helped. But that's all that I'm going to share with you for right now today for my first video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you would like to see and watch more videos about stay-at-home moms and the day in the life of a stay-at-home mom, and any kind of like advice that you need, since I've been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, you know, I'm not an expert, which mom is, but you know, I'm always here to give advice, and I would like to hear the things that you've experienced as a stay-at-home mom, if you are a stay-at-home mom, and like any questions you have for me. any things that have worked for you, I am anxious to hear. I'm always happy to hear things that worked well for other people as being a stay-at-home mom and whatnot. And if you are considering being a stay-at-home mom and you have any questions about or concerns of why you should or shouldn't, I am always free to answer that for you. So, and if you liked my video and you like to check out more videos, I have other videos about makeup and beauty, and check those out if you would like to do so. And as always, like I always say, stay beautiful, and I hope you have a good day.